For years, scientists and environmentalists have focused on reducing carbon dioxide emissions, but new technology shows that what can't be reduced could actually be removed. Audrey Weil shows us that some of the leading research in CO2 removal is happening here in Arizona.
The Center for Negative Carbon Emissions at Arizona State University is working on air capture technology, which is exactly what it sounds like, a way to capture existing CO2 directly from the air.
We developed materials which have the feature that they can bind CO2. So they are a little bit like leaves on a tree. As the air blows over those surfaces, the CO2 attaches itself to it.
The materials work on a moisture swing, attracting CO2-filled air when they're dry, and then separating and releasing an enriched concentration of that CO2 when they become wet. The enriched CO2 has several uses, like feeding algae.
Those algae could then be used to make biofuels, and that's part of the idea there. So you could have fuels without taking petroleum.
The center's goal is to counterbalance the current 400 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. But Lackner says the focus still needs to be on reduction first, leaving removal as a backup plan.
In some ways, air capture is the capture of last resort. If you can't think of any better way, you have a guarantee that you can do that. And I think that's why it's so powerful.
But the idea is still new, and technology is not yet commercially available.
Air capture is not a technology which is on the shelf, but it's also not so hard that we couldn't do it. It's something which is recent in its development, but give it a few years and the technology will be demonstrated.
And when it is demonstrated, it could have a big impact.
And if we were able to create a system where you could pull carbon dioxide concentrations out of the air, make a saleable product, I think you're benefiting your environment, you're benefiting your economy, and you're benefiting your community with all the things that you're doing.
The center isn't the only place interested in air capture technology. Other companies across the country and even around the world are looking into similar ideas. But the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality says as far as it knows, none of these technologies are on the market yet. In Phoenix, Audrey Weil, Cronkite News.